Alright, today we had some milestones hit here on a couple of charts that I've been talking about that I wanted to see happen on this channel to get us out of the woods. I would say at this point, we are officially out of the woods. We no longer have to worry about getting eaten by those bears. And it is time to march up into all-time highs for Bitcoin and for that final and biggest altcoin season of the cycle to take place. And speaking of altcoins, today we are starting off with this total 3 chart. We've been talking about this fib level, the golden pocket we wanted to see get broken and backtested into support to give us clear skies for the altcoin market to go absolutely vertical and teleport to the upside. And I'm happy to report we only have 3 hours left on the day and we are sitting above that golden pocket. I do expect us to close breaking through the 618, and if we jump in here to an hourly time frame, you can see we have in fact backtested that 618 on the hourly. So yeah, the altcoin market is officially set for liftoff. Do I think it's just going to instantly teleport 40% in one day? No, that's not what I'm suggesting here, but we have in fact gotten back within the value area of this previous, top end range here. We're back within it. That value area low was sitting right at that golden pocket. Perfect confluence for a back test, and now we want to see it get through the rest of these volume levels after we backtest this value area high up here, which is very likely at this point. We come up here, backtest this into support. That's where you could see just, those 50% plus days where stuff just flies. And I think we're already getting to that point on a lot of our altcoins. We are seeing coins like Caspa start doing, 20-30% days, sending into all-time highs. So I think you're going to see that across the board. Now that we are through this golden pocket, a lot of your good altcoin projects are just going to start popping off. Another milestone we hit on the charts that we've been looking at on this channel that I believe is actually bigger than seeing this backtest of the golden pocket is going to be the S&P did in fact make an all-time high today, breaking through this good high that I've been worried about for so long. Now that we have broken through this, I expect the S&P to act similar to the altcoin market in that it will also go completely vertical as those bears capitulate and those shorts have to cover their positions. So yeah, awesome to see that traditional finance, the stock market, the S&P is going into all-time highs once again. And if you didn't know, Bitcoin and crypto correlate with traditional finance as a risk-on asset in the tech sector. And if we look at the biggest tech asset of the year for traditional finance, Nvidia, we do see Nvidia is completely sending past all-time highs, forming what looks like the start of a parabola, and I do expect a blow off top for Nvidia that will actually come in soon, and that's what we have to be watching out for, right? These parabolas don't last forever. You look at Nvidia on the yearly here, this thing looks like Bitcoin in 2017, and this is not going to last forever. With how these charts are shaping up, I actually do expect that top to possibly be in this summer, and it might not even take all the way into fall, into election season. They might front run that. We get our first high this summer. Maybe we do have a 50% dump on Bitcoin like we did back in 2020, but then there's a secondary rally like in 2021 going into election season to get that euphoria back up. But like I said, these parabolas aren't going to last forever, so we want to be watching closely this summer to get out of the markets when that top is in, because historically for your altcoin market, the tops on most coins only last about 2 weeks. And if you miss that window, it is a falling knife afterwards. So while it's about to be a really euphoric time in the markets, it's also a time to stay vigilant and not get caught up in the excitement and round trip yourself with your positions. Now, with all of that being said, just like I've been talking about in my previous videos, it is definitely not time to FOMO into positions right now, especially leveraged positions. Like, there's a lot of altcoins that are still in reaccumulation, and I actually think would not be bad buys at all right now. But long in something like Bitcoin is extremely sketchy because we do have a lot of big sellers in the order books. Now, that's not to say I'm bearish. I mean, we had big sellers at this high and at this high, and we've continued to squeeze up, but we are getting to bigger liquidity levels. First of all, just ignore this triangle here. I'm going to remove that. That was just for a clickbait thumbnail. We do not use retail patterns on this channel, but we did have, a sweep here we had talked about, and I was like, hey, that could have been sufficient to pull back a little bit further, but I was looking for the true sweep to be up at either this high here, or if all the way at this high, you can see this is where a lot of liquidity is sitting. So now that we have actually swept through some of these liquidity levels, I do think a little bit more of a bigger pullback, at least on the short term here, is likely. Like, let's take out all of these top longers that have their stops at this wick or have their stops at this wick here. Backtest this visible range value area high. Let's pull up the periodic volume profile of the month, and you can see, we have a monthly value area high that's a little bit higher, so we could go ahead backtest this, maybe go for this sweep in here, and then pull all the way back to visible range very high. You know, this actually makes a lot of sense within here if we got like a bullish divergence on like the hourly 4-hour time frame, and we did make this kind of structure within here before continuing up. That would make a lot of sense to me. You know, we have a 1-hour bearish divergence coming in here. If I take these highs, we have 3 draws of a bearish divergence on the hourly time frame. That's not the right line. Let me get this trend. As you can see right here, 3 taps of lower highs on RSI, higher highs on price. So we do have some signs that could signal a pullback just on the short term here. If we jump over to trading light now, you can see we also have a bunch of walls. These are those sellers I was talking about in the order books. We can see right here, this is a 1,000 Bitcoin short position. Then these, I believe, are going to be like 500, 600, 600. You can see here, we have a lot of short positions coming in here, another 1,000 up at 73.2, which I believe that 73.2 is going to be above this high over here. So that's another potential play that could happen, right? We just keep, squeezing on up here, not letting shorts get away with it until we do finally sweep this level and then come all the way back down, maybe test this visible range value area that we had talked about right in here. Something like this, just wash out all of these top longers in here before heading on up to make those all-time highs, because I bet you the longs are just going to continue to pile up. Retail is going to be looking for, the break of all-time highs, and they're going to want to FOMO into that. So what would be a very Bitcoin thing is right before we break the all-time highs, we wash the longs before actually going up and sending to $80,000 plus. Looking over here on CoinInc now, this is going to give us our CVD, open interest, net short, net longs, as well as an aggregated order book. So you can see a lot of sellers are in the order books here, but like I was saying before, we had shorts at these highs, price just continued up, so I have no reason to believe that price wouldn't be able to just march through these levels. But no doubt, we definitely do have more sellers than buyers in the order books right now. What is nice to see though is our open interest has continued up, and like we talked about, a lot of shorts were opened up at the lows down here, and we were looking for a short squeeze. But the fact that we have not squeezed these shorts on open interest, I mean, you can tell every time the open interest has dropped, it's been on these small pullbacks. So these are just top longers getting thrown out of their positions on the small pullbacks within here. We really haven't seen that big short squeeze to close out all of the positions from the lows, as well as all the positions that are continuing to be opened within here. So there is certainly still the case that Bitcoin continues to not respect the sellers and finally does create that massive short squeeze, which does send us through all-time highs to like 75, 76K. And then after the short squeeze, if you have longers FOMOing on top of that, right, that's something that could signal a reversal in the markets. So we'll want to be watching out for that. But so far, so good. This is just bullish continuation to the upside. I expect the uptrend to continue minus the small flushes to get those longs out of the market that we have been seeing consistently through this uptrend. But until we see the open interest tank down to the lows when price rises up, then I believe we still have those shorts in the market ready to get squeezed to the upside, and I don't think we'll have a significant reversal until those shorts get out of the market. So yeah, minus the small pullbacks, I think we have some good times ahead of us in the crypto market as we are seeing those milestones hit on the altcoin market and traditional finance, signaling the most parabolic part of the cycle is about to happen. But as I've stated, parabolas don't last forever, and we will need to be watching closely to figure out when that top actually does come in, and I'll make sure to let you guys know when I believe that actually does happen. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe to stay updated on my thoughts. And if you do have any questions about anything I talked about today, or just want to join the community for this channel, a link to my Discord is in the description down below. Also, if you are a leverage trader, I've partnered up with Blowfin to give you guys up to a $300 futures deposit bonus using my link below. So make sure to go sign up for that exchange if you are interested. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.